All right, so as we are kind of simmering down from the heads and tails game, so many people helped make this work happen through the year and today. Thank you to Reclaim's team of staff, fellows, interns, and volunteers. To our founder, Janet Bystrom, and to our board of directors, Addie Free, Judith Branham, Paul Harstick, Rabindra Tambri Raja, Stephanie Lilac, Tom Peck, and Zaylor Stout. I'd like to welcome Reclaim's board members Zaylor Stout and Paul Harstack to the stage.
Hello, hello. My name is Zaylor Stout.
And I'm Paul.
We're both current board members here at Reclaim, and we want to show appreciation to somebody who has both the fire and the passion to help others.
Mary Bumblebee Pokluda joined Reclaim's board 2 years ago and almost immediately stepped into a leadership role as the board chair. She then recruited both of us and many more.
And 2 years later, Mary's life has taken a turn and taken her to a new direction all the way out to sunny Southern California. But we think because she moved out there, that's why it snowed.
Mary, please come and accept this gift in celebration of all the love and guidance you've provided to Reclaim. We will miss you and wish you all the best.
Wow, thank you so much. It has been such an amazing journey to be able to be part of such a phenomenal organization that paves the way for our youth. Every person sitting here today and every person that works within the organization to support the organization does this because we need to leave the tools and the opportunity for our youth to continue our legacy. So thank you for being here to provide love to those who don't find it within their families, but find it within their chosen family, which my chosen family is also Reclaim. Thank you. Okay, enough about me. So, all right. What is a historian? A historian is a person who studies and writes about the past and is regarded as an authority on it. Historians are concerned with the continuous, methodical narrative and research of the past events as relating to the human race, as well as the study of all history and time. I gave the title of Reclaim Historian to someone because without them, I would have never been as successful as the chair of the board of Reclaim without them. Our historian served on the board for 6 years, which is a lot of the other reason why I gave them the title historian. Their passion for people of all walks of life, queer, trans, youth, health, mental health, relationships, and growth shone bright when they guided us using Reclaim's past while we worked in the present and were planning the growth for our future. When the board would be deep in conversation, I would look over and see their hand gently raised and call on them. We would all stop and pay close attention to what they would state because it would always narrow the conversation to the root, resolve the question, or let us know we were digressing from the point. We value their feedback, opinions, and suggestions. Much of this board's success the last 2 years is because our historian knew the history of this amazing organization. Without history, there is no future. It is my privilege to honor this amazing human being we all know as G. Zachariah White. Surprise! And last thing, which is my favorite thing to do, is my most favorite thing to do when we were in a board meeting was to ask you to drop a beat. Would you come and let everyone know what that means?
Drop a beat. Yes. Every once in a while, you just need to go.
So we're presenting you with a gift certificate.
I just want to say I'm humbled and thank you. And there's one thing that let me be the historian, for that to survive as long on the board, to be the historian. It is slow and steady. Do the things that you know you can keep doing, and say no to some things that you know will burn you out. It's important to be able to discern that so that you can keep going and be there. Thank you.
Because our work is rooted in gratitude, we have a few more important thank yous. First, love to our sponsors. Prairie Care, thank you for your multi-year commitment as an annual sponsor. Please send someone up to receive this beautiful gift of appreciation. May it grow and flourish just as your support has helped Reclaim grow and flourish. So can someone come on up, please? This beautiful plant is for you. Thank you so much. Would you like to say a few words or anything?
Sure. Well, I'm short. I just want to say thank you. It's such an honor to be here and to partner with this wonderful organization. And just, you guys do wonderful work. So thank you.
You're welcome. And shining bright are the diamond sponsors, the incredible home selling duo of the No Place Like Home team with RE/MAX Results and First Equity Mortgage. Amy and Kay, David, you all rock. And thank you to all of our sponsors, table hosts, and to each of you who is here today. You have given generously of your time and resources. If you are here, you are making this work happen. So give yourselves a big round of applause. In the nearly 10 years since Reclaim has started, we've seen a growing understanding of the need for political protections for queer and trans people. As Tina Smith shared in a letter for this brunch, policies that lead to worsening health for our trans community are unacceptable. Ensuring that queer and trans youth have access to mental health supports with practitioners who understand their needs is essential. We're grateful for the partnership of every elected official who advocates to make the world a better place outside of this room and for all of us. We want to recognize the elected officials here in the room with us today. State Senator Scott Dibble. One of my favorites, Minneapolis City Council members Andrea Jenkins and Cam Gordon. Minneapolis School Board member Kimberly Caprini. If we have missed anyone, please stand now. Next, I want to welcome to the stage someone to share some words. She is one of my personal idols, and I'm so honored to present her for you today. Amazing Minneapolis City Council member Andrea Jenkins.
It's amazing, right? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrea Jenkins. I'm the Vice President of the Minneapolis City Council. So glad to be here with Reclaim again to celebrate the love and really celebrate the love for young, black and brown, queer, trans, gender nonconforming young people, right? That's who we are here to lift up and hold up today. And it's really important, I think, for us to recognize that 2019 represents the 50th anniversary of the gay liberation movement, as it was known back then, the LGBT rights movement, as we call it now. And it was really started by black and brown, queer, trans, gender nonconforming people. Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, Miss Major, so many gender nonconforming people of color who really were fed up with police brutality. 2019 is also the 400th anniversary of enslaved Africans landing on the shores of America, right? And so we have to recognize the interconnections of these movements, of these struggles for humanity, for equal rights for all people. And so I wanted to share a poem that really, I think, integrates the struggle for human rights and equality of black people, as well as the struggle for equality for LGBTQI identifying people. It's called Black Pearl. Black Pearl, precious little girl, you've been in the sunshine much too long. Black Pearl, precious little girl, come into the sunshine where you belong. Black Pearl, black girl, hiding behind the body of a little boy. You knew you were different from the start. Deep in your heart, you would always stand apart from those who were normal, whatever that is. Black Pearl, black girl, all the little boys knew. They tried to do the nasty to you when nobody was looking, tried to be your nighttime lover in the dark. Black girl, the science teacher told your mama, but he's such a happy-go-lucky little boy. But there was no joy. Your pain was deep. Why me, God? You prayed on midnight knees. Black Pearl strolled around the neighborhood for the first time at 12 years old. The 2 p.m. sun bouncing off your mama's wig, heels, lipstick, the whole 9. And the old men at the barber shop and the liquor store and the body shop whistled and hissed, and you just wanted to be kissed like a girl. Black Pearl, precious little girl, you've been in the background much too long. Black Pearl, precious little girl, come into the sunshine where you belong. Black Pearl tried to hide the shame, dated girls, but it was all a game. No one could see beyond the indigo blues. Seemed like nothing really mattered but the way the silk caressed your brown skin, black girl. You loved how your legs transformed themselves into Hollywood gams when you slipped on those pumps. Felt like the heart of a woman was beating behind your unblossomed chest. A disease was brewing between you and yourself, trying to understand why anger followed you around like a baby brother. No rhythm, no rhyme. Black Pearl took the L all the way downtown, found a book at the Harold Washington Public Library about a woman just like you. Realized that she had been through the fire, to the limit, to the wall, and for one chance to be yourself, decided to risk it all. Black girl. This is not a dream to be deferred. Life is to be lived. Not a wound to hide, but a gem to be displayed. From that day to this, she held her head a little higher, never cried aloud. For once, she was proud. Thanked God for the sunshine. Black Pearl, black girl. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. My goodness. Wow. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you, Andrea. Let's give a round of applause for Andrea. Next, we have someone to seriously celebrate. Dr. Felicia Washington C. has been a volunteer since Reclaim's founding and an on staff for nearly 4 years. As executive director since 2016, Felicia has inspired youth and families, practitioners, and our community partners to work together to increase access to mental health support so that queer and trans youth might be free from oppression in all of its forms. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Reclaim's Executive Director, Dr. Felicia Washington C.
Oh, thank you. So this is my third Celebrate the Love, and this was the year where I wasn't gonna cry. So it's very emotional, starting with when Mary, oh Jesus, when Mary was accepting her award and her tears started flowing because we know everything that happens behind the scenes to do the work that we do. I have to take just a couple of seconds to say Mary Rose, wherever you are. I always have to just recognize Mary Rose Dolezal. And our amazing development team that puts on this event annually and does many other things, and the rest of the program and clinical staff that support that work to make this event happen. Thank you, Mary Rose, and thank you, all of you. 21 years of professional social work practice, thousands of hours of therapy. As a practitioner, I've spent my life studying, grappling with, and trying to understand what it means to be well. 21 years, 3 degrees, and some professional licensure, I have come to know 3 things. Just 3 things for sure. That suffering is fundamental to human experience. That the pathways to well-being and transformation are endless, and that healing happens in community. It happens in relationship. Our ability to be well is deeply interconnected to the people, conditions, and circumstances of our environment. 92-year-old Zen master, teacher, poet, scholar, Nobel Peace Prize nominee Thich Nhat Hanh says, everything we think, feel, do has an effect on our ancestors and future generations and reverberates throughout the cosmos. And it all starts with one conscious breath. If you can take one conscious breath and then the next and the next, you are breathing and aware. And if you are breathing, you are alive to live another day, to get things right. When we breathe consciously, we connect to our body and mind, we calm, we relax, and we crack the doors open to our best selves. At Reclaim, we center the experiences of young people. We have the privilege of bearing witness to the healing journey of the youth that we serve. The journey is filled with struggle and shame and doubt and fear, but more importantly, there are stories of triumph, big and small. I recently had the pleasure of connecting with a former client who came to Reclaim, who just stopped in to say hello, connect with staff, take care of a few practical matters. And in that same week, the same young person in a retail setting checked me out after I had been standing in line to make my purchases, and later that same week, unbeknownst to me and purely by coincidence, this young person made a visit to the same spiritual community that I practice my faith in. Now, I know this is a simple little story, but it is remarkable. It is remarkable because I know the significant barriers that young person overcame to be a part of an affirming community, to be gainfully employed, and to explore the mystery and wonder of a faith tradition outside of their fundamentalist upbringing. I know what it took. And that is why I do what I do. That is why we do what we do, so that the pathways of healing can be forged one step at a time to participate fully in society with the ability to contribute to your community and to take care of yourself. I know the effort that took, the labor, the sacrifice, the loss, and I know the pathways that will continue as they move forward on their journey of success and failure that courses over a lifetime. And that is why we do what we do, so that young people, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, social economic status, we do that so that they can reclaim their lives from oppression in all of its forms. We work so that youth can feel secure in their right to take up space, to succeed, to fail, to love, to explore, to hope, to love, to dream, work, play, and simply be. To rest in knowing that they matter, they are seen and appreciated. But it's really not altruism. It's actually quite selfish, because I know that my own well-being is intricately connected to the well-being of my community and my planet. And I believe the same is true for all of us. We are interconnected. Healing happens in community. Healing happens in relationship to one another. That is why the containers, the community that holds young people, must be held well. So this is my charge for each one of you in this room, that we need to be examples of folks who are getting it right. We need to be examples of each other, for each other. Mental health wellness is only one aspect of our total well-being. It is social, vocational, spiritual, and it contains physical well-being. And this, when we shamelessly, publicly display our health, we counteract the narratives that say you are not good enough, you are not good enough. We counteract those narratives with our well-being because they combat the common themes that are so present in the other narratives of youth. I feel alone. I felt like I was the only one. There's no one to talk to. There's no examples that show me the way until they find an oasis like Reclaim. But Reclaim, our 6 full-time therapists, our 7 interns, our 1 clinical fellow, a mental health supervisor, 2 support staff, a development team of 3. We are just the brick and mortar that hold up the walls. Really, everyone in this room is Reclaim. You are Reclaim. You are Reclaim. You are all Reclaim. And there are many more that couldn't be with us today. I would like you to imagine a Minnesota where every young person from the metro to the greater Minnesota has access to well-being on all the journeys of healing and thriving. Where young people in Minnesota beat the national averages that are common descriptors of our community. The high rates of suicidality, anxiety, depression, blah, 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 blah. We know the statistics. I will not repeat them here. We can rise above it and become national leaders on how to get it right. A model. Why Minnesota? Oh, because we do it better here. We will make noticeable, measurable change, a reversal of all those negative statistics that define our community. And then we'll teach our neighbors. North Dakota, oh yes, North Dakota. South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and beyond. We, and as communities, as light for our communities, we will show them by example. We will show them by our wellness on how to do it right. I mean, we can't do this work alone. We need all of Reclaim to show up with your time and your talent, and yes, even your dollars, being examples on your own healing journeys, your own pathways to wellness. Meet your fitness goals, y'all. How are you doing with those New Year's resolutions? With your employment goals, your sobriety goals, whatever it is, rise up and be the best person that you can be, because when you do that, consciously or unconsciously, you are an example to the others around you. And that healing, that is powerful, and it is infectious in a good kind of way. When I do better, when you do better, we all do better. It is not just for ourselves. Each of us has the power to be an example on how to get it right. And it starts with one conscious breath. Yeah. And won't you breathe with me? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felicia and Andrea and all the folks here at Reclaim. This is, yes. I wish for you to be free from doubt. When you feel left behind or left out, when the world seems brighter everywhere else, and your mind is lost inside a wishing well, right on time. You are right on time. You're right on time. Remember, the heart is a tender thing. restless and hopeful, it cries and sings. And sometimes you need shelter and a space to be a little tough, not tough enough, a little lost at sea. And when everyone is racing and you join in, if you can, try running with a smile, 'cause there is a danger in going too fast, or getting too far ahead can set you back. Right on time, you are right on time, you're right on time. You are right on time, you're right on time. And when you're tired and on your own, cried so many tears, they're all gone. When there's nothing you haven't tried to fix this uncertain road. Oh, when everywhere you look, you see regrets, caught up in the past and what might have been. What we can never know will make our heads spin. A little love, a little trust, a lot of forgiveness. Right on time. You are right on time, you're right on time. What if we're right on time? We're right on time for real. What if we're right on time?
That was Ellis. Ellis. Oh man, I wish you could see what I see, because it's beautiful. I'm Janet Bystrom, and I am the founder and executive director, former executive director of Reclaim. Hey! Hey! Thank you. I wish you could know what I'm feeling. Upon finishing her internship in the early years of Reclaim, Anna Stern gifted a large and stately jade plant. From this mother plant, she rooted many small plants, which she gave to members of the Gender Exploration Group upon her departure. Her last night in group, she shared the following sentiment: The word discipline comes from disciple. In learning this discipline of healing, support, love, rage, joy, and pain, you have all been my teachers. I will hold my shoulders straighter for knowing you. I will be silly when things get too heavy. I will cry when tears need crying. I cannot say all the ways that I will be a better person, a better therapist, because you all believed in me. I suspect that they will continue to reveal themselves to me over the course of my lifetime. I am leaving you with the jade, a reminder of how we are all growing together, even when we are apart. A whole plant will grow from a single leaf on the barest of soil. One plant can make hundreds. They manage to survive with very little water and not too much sun. Call me crazy, but it reminds me of some people I know. That jade plant lives on thanks to the loving care of our beloved friends Kamar Sadiq Saud and Stephen Deerwood. Yeah. These small cuttings that you see over here today are propagated from the mother plant, and they stand as a symbol of our collective resilience. Over the years, many physical places and organizations have held fertile soil for our queer and trans community life. Many of these dearly loved places have come and gone. While this may seem to suggest loss or failure, we believe that can also be seen as a testament to our strength and resilience. Much like the jade plant, queer and trans people have always found places to take root, even when the environment was not hospitable. We can have periods of being dormant and periods of dramatic growth and stimulation, maturation. We thrive when places that are well supported, but our life does not depend on them either. We humbly acknowledge that incredible, resilient, queer and trans life existed before Reclaim, and it will exist after it as well. And so, we take up our place in this moment and in this movement as an important resource for those who are seeking safety and nourishment today. We know that those who receive this care and learn these healing practices will be the stewards of those who come after them. This is the way of life. Reclaim is the pot that we are gathering in and around today. Our love and acceptance is the soil. What we give together is the water that stimulates the full potential of each and every person seeking to root and grow, regardless of their role. We would like to share what has grown and is growing now through the life of Reclaim. You will hear some brief reflections from a number of people representing both past and present connection to Reclaim in a variety of roles, including client, parent, intern, staff, and board member. They will each respond to the following prompts. I was seeking, I found, I remember, what took root in me, and what is growing now. Please get everyone who is about to speak a round of applause for their love and courage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leisha Suggs, and I'm a current therapist at Reclaim. I was seeking an opportunity to really serve the community I live in, to be the person I needed when I was young. I found an amazing group of folks called Reclaim. As a kid, I remember never feeling as though I saw myself reflected in successful faces. It felt like my differences, my meanness, were actually shortcomings that held me back. Encouragement came only through compliance. I remember being told to throw all of that away, to be radical. What took root was a sudden giddy hopefulness, a need to challenge that former conformity armed with all of my strangeness, my weirdness, my nerdiness, my meanness. A desire to be myself and to be myself for others, so queer youth and youth of color who think weird and act weird and are pressed into docility can see me and think, if they can, I can. What is growing is the internal sense that what I am doing is important, who I am is important, that we as a community contain multitudes, and we're going to show them off every chance we get. Thank you.
Hi, we're Mike and Ann Monlock. We're parents of a former Reclaim client. We were seeking advice, counsel, guidance, and an empathetic ear. We found advice, counsel, an empathetic ear, and more. We found context, community, friendship, and support. We remember. We don't remember what actually was said or how long the conversation was. We remember it was between Christmas of 12 and the New Year. Our daughter, who was away at college, called home and said we needed to talk. We remember driving to her house and being met at the door by a roommate. She was in her bedroom in the basement. We walked into her room and found her lying on the floor, under a blanket, curled up in the fetal position. We remember the body language. We remember that the conversation was really difficult. We remember failing to make the conversation less difficult with humor. We remember crying. We remember the body language. We remember knowing that the world can be a horrible place for people like her and fearing for her and her future. We remember thinking that she and we will need help.
And then what took root was an awareness of a different reality. What is growing now? With improved awareness came a commitment to our daughter to advocate for the trans community. One form of this was talking with a lot of people, friends, family, co-workers openly, honestly, telling our story and the story of our family. Our daughter was always encouraged us to ask any question, thoughtful, not so thoughtful, even dumb ones. If we had a question, she would try and answer it as honestly as she could. We've committed to this same openness with those that we talk to. At work, Mike volunteered to be an empathetic ear to anyone in his organization that needs someone to listen. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ayler Stout, one of the current board members for Reclaim. I was seeking a way to give back to the LGBTQ+ community, and the stories of Gavin Grimm and the HB2 bill in North Carolina, the bathroom bill, made me furious, and I wanted to find a way to be able to fight back. I found Reclaim. I found Reclaim through Mary Pokluda at the 2017 Celebrate the Love event. It was hard not to feel drawn to the organization's mission and focus on improving the lives of queer, transgender, gender non-binary youth. This was where I could make an impact that could affect and make a better queer tomorrow. I remember leveraging my board membership to help get a gender inclusion policy passed in St. Louis Park. I remember a supportive superintendent. I remember getting allies elected to the school. I remember a mother's tears when the policy passed, and I remember the frozen yogurt social with the students celebrating our victory. What took root is the power of the people. Anything is possible if we harness our collective voices and work together. Through this process, we secured more allies and increased the visibility of Reclaim, the families of Reclaim, to school boards across the state. What is growing now is a groundswell of support for transgender and gender nonconforming kids in all school districts. Richfield passed their gender inclusion policy in August of 2018. Duluth, Anoka, and other school districts are considering similar measures. They need your help and your presence during these school board meetings to be able to make a positive impact in their lives.
Hi, my name is Zachariah White. I'm a former Reclaim board member, as you learned earlier. I was seeking a place where people were actively engaged in the struggle against white supremacy and other forms of oppression. A place where I could put to use some of the time and energy that privilege affords me. I found more work to be done than we could do. I remember talking with Autumn Brown, at the time the interim executive director, about engaging as a board member with the attitude of being an accomplice, a conspirator, flexing what power was available in the role of board member to let the organization get away with carrying out its mission, that queer and trans youth may be free from oppression in all its forms. What took root? The idea that love ought not be reserved for the nuclear family, that love ought not be separated from business, that love should be considered in every action, every decision. What is growing now is a belief in community. American capitalism without adequate safety nets produces a kind of fear. Hoard everything you can, or you could lose it all. How can we live like we have each other's back? I don't have it all figured out, but it seems like an important question.
Hi. My name is Ro Lorenzen, and I am a former Reclaim client. I was seeking the answer. I didn't know, so young and full of trepidation, how does one navigate the dark? If this was to be all there was, I didn't know how I was expected to not be distracted by my own questions. My glass was hot to the touch and overflowing. I was seeking solace in my own silence. I was seeking strength to be happy. In Reclaim, I found a will to confide, a voice to my insecurity, a hand in the darkness. I remember those days in Felicia's office, full of fire and hurt, and full of rage and upset, so little life experience and in need of guidance. I relished those days, learning to write the name Ro with that flame. What took root then stands before you now. 10 years of fighting to finally come home to my own person. What grows now is my peace onto a canvas of understanding. A future that is my own path. No one else has and can experience me. I am here. I am here. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Ilana Sperling, and I'm a former Reclaim client and intern. So I was seeking purchase in a new way of being. I was seeking more than what it means to receive. I was seeking some sort of reification through being there in the ways that others had been there for me. What I found was a place of belonging and a place that was growing and changing more rapidly than even I had changed. We shared a growing pain, at once recognizable and unfamiliar. I found a place beside it. I found a place as part of it. And I remember wondering if this would still be a place where I belonged when all the rooms had finally been painted, when so many of the people I had worked beside, who had been home to me, moved on. I remember standing outside this new place on a cold winter's day much like this one, so far from the old home in Minneapolis, without a key. And I remember how Alex let me in that day. What took root was me. Rootless, purposeless me, holding on to something that was never meant to stay the same. When you take root, you grow, and where there's light, you let it in. You catch it. So, what is growing now are so many leaves. Me, with my heart precisely where it's supposed to be, touching the sun, and a whole forest where there was just a seed. Thank you.
I'm going to say something, and then I would like you all to respond by saying, "We celebrate the love." We remember the body language. We celebrate the love. I am here. I am here. We celebrate the love. A whole forest where there was just a seed. We celebrate the love. Thank you for everyone who shared today. Let's give them a round. All right, we've got two final speakers here. It's next my pleasure to introduce Blair Jenkins, a current client at Reclaim, who wants to share their story today as an important step along their path of well-being. As you will see, the way that Blair approaches life is a testament to resilience. Let's be honest, sometimes success is about things sucking less. That's true. Yep. Yes. You understand. You understand. Good. Sometimes it's just about having the confidence to know that you know how to handle the hard things, not if, but when they come your way. I want to thank you, Blair, for inviting us to witness your grit, your wit, and all that is growing in the garden of your life.
Cool. Is this short enough? Am I? There's a bridge over the highway by my house where you can look out over Minneapolis and hear nothing but the cars below. I stand on that bridge sometimes and I scream. I let myself be as angry as I need to be, feel all the fury that I hold inside of me over the things that have happened in my life, and I hold so much. For a lot of my life, I felt like I'm just barely getting by, treading water, and 2 summers ago, that started to feel a lot more like drowning. My therapist and I have spent what feels like a lifetime talking about that summer. During one session, I said that it feels like someone dumped a pile of shit on my doorstep and left me to deal with it, and I made a flower garden out of it. Jesus. This is when the shit dumping comes in. A man I worked with that summer believed he had the right to leave a giant, steaming mess of crap on my front step, regardless of my protest or how loud I said no. There had already been a few piles left that summer, but this was the mother load. I had no idea what to do. If we stick with the metaphor, after about a month of staring at it in fear and disgust, I took that pile of shit and started tilling it into the dirt. In reality, I started by asking for help. I found a therapist at Reclaim and tried everything they suggested at least once. I made sure to communicate with my lovely and supportive friends. I took steps back from school, dialed back my work schedule, went to therapy weekly, adopted a kitty named Apricot, tried meditation, whole 9 yards. And it felt like nothing was changing. It still looked like dirt and smelled pretty crappy. But I figured it wasn't just gonna grow itself, so I kept trying. I found a new job in a field that I'm extremely passionate about. I tried to go out and see friends more, and I took a leave of absence from school. I stopped wanting to die every day. Extending the metaphor, there were some sprouts. That's not to say there weren't weeds and rocks, too. The spring brought with it an emergency appendectomy and the death of my grandmother. Last July, within a half hour of each other, I got 2 phone calls. The first one was to tell me that it was time to let Apricot go. The second was to tell me that the cops had decided, a year later, that they didn't feel like looking into that particular pile of shit. 10 minutes between these calls. Talk about rocks. I felt like I got hit with one, and it knocked the air right out of me. But I had put way too much time and effort on this patch of dirt to give up that easy. I reached out. Friends stayed with me through the appendectomy and even brought donuts to the ER. The nurses loved me. I grew closer with my cousins after my grandmother passed. And when it was time to let Apricot go, my best friend and I put her on a leash and walked her all the way to the vets, making sure to take so many pictures of her eating all the grass she could. She yelled, purred, and hugged me like she had never even been sick. It's one of my happiest memories. There was still beauty even in the rocks. In January, I started back in school part-time. I am healthier than I have ever been, mentally and physically. I have a life I never even considered possible 2 years ago. I'm rebuilding friendships I had put on hold and building new ones. I even have 2 new perfect kittens, a mama and a baby. Yes, I have pictures, find me after. I can't go back to that patch of rocky, inhospitable soil I started with. I have a garden now. A couple months ago, my dad's girlfriend said something that summed up everything I've learned through all this. She said, every time we're faced with an impossible situation, something that's just way too hard, we say, that's okay. We do hard things. There are shitty things in life. There are weeds and stones in our gardens. There are frankly ridiculous amounts sometimes. But that's okay. We do hard things. Every day, existing, getting up in a world that does not welcome us with open arms, we do hard things. We keep doing them, and it keeps getting better. We are angry, overpoweringly so sometimes, but that anger means we know we are worth the work. We are worth the effort. We can grow beautiful, thriving gardens teeming with life, and we can share them with the world.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Blair. Can you take one more? Yeah. Yes, okay. So now I have the great pleasure of introducing Katie Burgess. I love her a lot. And after you hear her speak, I'm sure you will see why, and you might just find yourself feeling the same. As you will see, Katie has a long history with Reclaim. Her own healing and efforts to grow are in the very roots of Reclaim itself. Please join me in welcoming Katie.
The first law of thermodynamics. Anybody? Also known as the law of conservation of energy, states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be transferred or changed from one form to another. I've lived here for 15 years. It's easy to think sometimes that everything has changed, that all I witness around me is constant creation and destruction, emphasis on the destruction. But science is real. And I exist. Within my first year of living here, I joined a support group for trans youth called Gender Exploration Group. Janet Bystrom and Alex Nelson facilitated it. It was hosted by Face to Face. We would meet at Safe Zone, later District 202. But eventually, all of that was destroyed. Or maybe I should say, eventually all of this was created. Or maybe I should just say, we all transitioned. You saw it coming. Energy transferred or changed from one form to another. At the time, I was sleeping in a literal closet under the stairs at a house called The Squeeze Box. I was punk as hell. Just ask my haircut. I was suffering from drug and alcohol addiction, anorexia, lack of health care, and unemployment. I had just emerged from 5 years of homelessness, traveling all over the country by freight train and hitchhiking. I simply decided to stop in Minneapolis. This was where I was going to make my stand. Gender Exploration Group was the first trench I dug, the first piece of ground that I gained. And I defended it with my life because I thought it could be destroyed. I thought I could be destroyed. I saw District 202 destroyed. I saw the Minnesota Trans Health Coalition created. I helped create the SHOT Clinic, the Trans Youth Support Network, the Exchange, the CC Support Committee, the Midwest Trans Prisoner Pen Pal Project, and Reclaim. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting there. Oh, I'm getting there. Yeah. Because I watched, you'll see. Don't worry. No spoilers. I watched as Tyson and the Exchange were destroyed, Intermediate Arts, Patrick's Cabaret, Red Eye, Bedlam. I remember the first party at Moon Palace Books. I remember when Mala's was right next door. I remember Medusa and Punk Rock Church. I watched Madame be born and die. I was there for the end of Northland Poster Collective and Spokes Pizza. I remember the soap factory just down the street. Creation and destruction were everywhere. But these names, these organizations, they are not energy. They are not people. They are not us. They were created and destroyed so that we can transform. We cannot be created or destroyed. But that's easy to forget. When I thought destruction had come for Gender Exploration Group, that destruction had come for Alex, for my therapeutic relationship with Janet, for my very sanity and safety, well, I bought a keg. and I planted it in the center of a basement punk show. We charged $1 a cup. We were gonna fundraise enough money to keep our support group. Yeah, yeah. Right? Right? Well, you know, we fundraised enough money to pay for the keg. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we debated keeping that a secret from Janet. Yeah. Yeah. Later, we threw a church basement spaghetti dinner, the Spaghetti and Gender Ball. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Word was spreading. We made over $1,000. It wasn't enough to create something new, but it was enough to transform us into something new. Because what took root was, and my grandfather was from Italy, so I've seen this happen with spaghetti a lot, was family. So many people in the community now felt like they had engaged, that they could rally around a shared need, that nobody was going to go hungry. The second law of thermodynamics states that the entropy of any isolated system always increases. Entropy being the degree of disorder or randomness in a system. In other words, there's a lot of names and organizations, a lot of ways to raise money and organize who's in charge. The list only grows and becomes more complex until that complexity is somehow only equal to its simplicity. We are simply complexly community. Shortly after we started Reclaim, Janet gave us a writing prompt. What are you reclaiming? I wrote about the first time in my life that I said something positive about my body. I came here to reclaim myself in every reflection, in every mirror from now on. The other day, I woke up, got out of bed, and made breakfast. The other day, I woke up. I got out of bed. And I made breakfast. I remember the first time a fellow young homeless trans punk told me that food is for the weak, sleep is for the stupid. Yeah, it's a good line. It really works. Yeah. Yeah. Well, did you tell me that? Because I swear, I used to be so proud of how little I ate or slept, how quickly I could just wrap up my sleeping bag and be running away. If you don't eat, you don't build muscle. If you don't sleep, your brain will shut down. Science is real. Today, I came here to reclaim you. I reclaim. Through all the transformations, I reclaim this entropy. I'm here to break bread with you the same way I did over spaghetti 10 years ago. It is such an honor to be invited here to speak, as it allows me to reinvest in this community and deepen to my engagement to what is growing here. Thank you for transitioning with me. Thank you for investing in this. What's growing now is a sense that I belong to you, that we all belong to each other, that no matter what happens, no matter how complex things get, people in this room will keep showing up for each other and for those in need. To mark my reclamation of my family, my community, my entropy, my immortal energy, I have signed up to become a monthly sustainer for Reclaim today. That means each and every month I give my energy to queer and trans youth who need support. It's my way of showing that I'm not going anywhere, that I am worthy, that I deserve to be nurtured, that everyone deserves to be nurtured. One day, Reclaim was created. I was there. It was thrilling. And now I get to create Reclaim every single month. And more importantly, I get to create community with you. Reclaim didn't always look like this. It wasn't always called Reclaim. It might never look like this again, but while transformation is imminent, names are important. My name wasn't always Katie, but this is who I am right now. Take a moment to look around you. This is who we are right now. Honor it. We belong to each other. And then take a moment to look around your table and find the donation envelope. Yeah, Andrea's holding one up for an example. Yeah, these belong to us too. And if my hypothesis is correct, then the more we show up for each other in this community, the more generosity we put in these envelopes today, the more we transform hate into love, destruction into creation, myself into ourselves. Go ahead, you can find them. Yeah, okay, good. There are 400 people in this room. If we each give $25 or more a month, we as a collective would invest $10,000 monthly into health and wellness for queer and trans youth. We can do that. These relationships can sustain Reclaim. To all of you with a ribbon on your badge that says you already are a sustainer, thank you. And to everyone else, I'm asking you boldly, join us. Pick up an envelope and a pen and give as much as you can each month to keep Reclaim rooting and growing. Thank you.
So grab those envelopes, everybody. Thank you, Katie. And let's give another round of applause for everyone who has crossed this stage today to share something with us. Thank you again to everyone who helped make today happen. A special shout out to those who made today possible. Minneapolis Event Center and all their amazing staff. Becky Saltzman and Ryan Craning, with events by Lady K. Ann Hodson, our incredible AV producer. Min Enterprises Photography. Special thanks to photographer Jason Buckland. A big heartfelt thank you to our phenomenal volunteers. And thank you everyone for your support and generosity. In closing, thank you. Thank you for your generous support, for your time this morning, for having a blast with us, or should I say a shamazing blast with us. With your help, we raised, y'all ready? Can I get a cheer? All right, $7,566 on silent auction. Wow, that's amazing, everyone. Now go get your stuff. The checkout process will be in the back of the room. If you are an item winner, take your slip of paper payment method to the checkout at the back of the room to get your items. And remember to sign up for Strategic Planning Focus Group. Have a beautiful day, and it's been an amazing honor today to be asked to MC this beautiful celebration. Thank you, Mary Rose and Ryan and everyone at Reclaim. It's been a blast. Thank you so much. Love, Shimmer.